What is up, folks? Today we're going to talk about Ria. Ria, as I used to call her, my rock. She was like so much. How do you put in words what one person can be to you? But anyway, let's start. First time I saw her was in Mamba when it became the bigger establishment, and the second part, I think she was in Dreads that time, and I'm like, who is this lady? She looks like Catherine Zeta-Jones, always happy, smiling. You know those happy, smiley eyes, good energy, this, that. So every time I used to go to the club, there was a handful of ladies I used to just love looking at or admiring. One day, this is when I was hanging out with boys or whoever, and I got to meet Alia Thobani through Bhavin Bravo. And then I saw Alia was hanging out with Ria. So I'm like, hey man, I really like her. Who is she? So she called Ria over. Ria and I started talking in the club, just sat talking. And that time I used to just complain about everything in life. So I don't know how these women just stood, tolerated that. But anyway, we hit it off, started hanging out, and then hanging out would turn into more because, apart from just clubbing, we also loved movies. We just used to get into conversations where we were like, and it was the same time I was transitioning out of clubbing. So slowly stopping clubbing. So we would be like, oh yeah, we'll just hang. We won't go out early night. And it would turn out to be one of those early mornings. And I would hang out with her in that Koja apartment estate kind of thing. That time she was staying with Alia. And for some reason, we didn't go into the house much. We would just sit in the car. She used to give me all these trance CDs and stuff, hook me up with music because her brother, DJ Ned, he used to be into music. I heard he was into Dr. Alban, Apache Indian. He used to try and look like and sound like Apache Indian. Things were going good until one day, we had planned to go for Lord of the Rings. And then I think Nikki had come down again, so I forgot about everyone or whatever it was. She went without me, and I took that so personally. It's like, how could you do? Because movies was my thing also, isn't it? So I kind of stopped talking to her for a bit. And I'm so glad it was just for a bit. So when I did start hanging out with her again, now it got to a point where me and my bro would always be in this conflict of who's going to pick up gatia on Sunday morning for my dad. Because my dad needed gatia for breakfast. And it ended up being me because I would club till 6 in the morning or till the club closes. And then I'll just hang with Ria, fall asleep in the car with her or whatever it was. And then when it was time, gatia would open around 6 anyway. So hang out with her, drop her, whatever, and then pick up the gatias and then go. And during these times, she would have moved to where Amy used to live, just a few houses or apartments down. And Amy was a very interesting character. I remember she used to do some really scandalous things. I can't remember what. But during those times, I was also hanging with Smith, Pepe, and all these guys. So Pepe would join me. He would come, and they all hit it off. The cool friends. Pepe, then there was Neil Paji. Now, Neil Paji, he would be in the niche crew story anyway, but I'll tell you now. There was at one point, me and him, we were into the same activities. So, at some point he got so leveled that he just kept repeating, Paji feel nothing, Paji feel nothing, Paji feel nothing. So that was funny. Oh, he might also be in Twinks' time capsule because we both dated her. But yeah, unfortunately, he had a seizure, got caught late, and things went south. Now he's recovered and is much better, so I'm glad to hear that. So me and Ria used to talk about so many books, and much later after I moved to UK, she got me into this thing called the Dresden Files. My gosh, the best fictional, what do you even call it? Sci-fi. It's not sci-fi, but it's fantasy fiction series. That book, man, every book just deeper and more upgraded, and wow, such a great book. And that way we would talk about books, occultism, Orion constellations, and the conversations I used to have with this woman. It's like one of the ways we used to describe our relationship is like our soul split in two people. And that's her and that's me. And the other strange thing was, around the same time I used to date other people because it's just dating. It was nothing serious. So she would be 10 years older than me, while the other person I used to date was Twinks, who was 10 years younger than me. And we all kind of had our own very deep spiritual connection, either a twin flame or soulmate or whatever terms you want to use for these soul contracts and all that. There is a special post in my blog if you're into all that kind of foofy-doofy stuff. One thing, I haven't told her this, but one thing I really enjoy about her, when she does this, even I like doing it because when you get a nice blob, and the one she used to get, wow, when she used to do them, I'm like, that one sounded like it was tasty. I never told her this, but it just felt like, oh, so what a satisfying one. So back and forth, we go to I go to UK, we talk to each other, we send each other emails of how much we love each other, how deep we are, this and that. And then she dedicated this one song to me. Avril Lavigne, Sit and Stare at You. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I'm in love with you. And music was another thing we connected with. We used to listen to anything and everything. And this one visit I had, I got such nice music from her brother, DJ Ned, that I've still got it. There's one Can Satisfy DJ Ned remix. The beat in that one's got a really nice click in it. So DJ Ned used to be in Kisumu. I don't know if he used to just DJ or manage or just, they had their own hotel there. And from what she used to tell me is that she's like, yeah, we brought sand over to make the lake, whatever it was, Flamingo, Peacock Lake or whatever, look like a beach and stuff and all these things. And I was always curious about Kisumu. But after some of the stories my boys told me, I was like, if I do go there, I would be hanging with the boys anyway most of the time. And I don't want to get into those things the boys were doing. So I kind of skipped those bits. But when my friends went there, they're just like, listen, man, the hospitality in Kisumu, these guys are all rich and bored as hell. So they will take care of you, go out of their way, this and that. And they're all such happy, loving people. There's one scumbag. I might talk about him in season 3, but we'll see. Let's see. So the second time, the first time I visited, I would meet Taz through her again. And Taz I had a crush on from way back. By then, me and her were very good friends and all that. So I dated Taz for a couple of weeks. And then I think Taz saw how close we were. So Taz went out of her way. Like the things she pulled out, the stop she pulled out just to be in my life and be my friend. I still have that long email. If ever I need an ego boost, which I haven't needed in a long time, but if ever I do, I read that email. I'm just like, man, I have people in my life who fought to be in the place, I have people in my life who have fought to be in my life. Like, wow, in ways I can't even imagine. So then we would turn out to be the 3 musketeers, Taz, Ria, and me. And you have threesome fantasies. I was always hoping for one. Because there is this one picture they sent me when they were together and they're like, we're just missing you. And I'm like, oh my gosh, man, you two look so hot. But we were still really good friends. We would start hanging out in Taz's house a lot. She was in the house of Manji house, or that big house. Taz showed us this Premiere Pro Romeo Juliet, her version of the X-rated version. What she used to do, I used to bring out the Russell Peters one. And oh my God, when I hugged Ria, I was like, we fit so perfectly. Hug-wise, hands-wise, this and that. And I always appreciate this one time. Ria just turned me on so much, just wearing a tee and tights and the hair. She looked like this lioness, man. Beautiful lioness. Anyway, so that happened. And Taz would end up meeting my dad. My dad would be teaching her graphics or something. At some point, something happened, and then Taz had to tell me some stories. We went to my mom to tell her the same stories and find out things we didn't want to know. But yep, that's what happened. So I go back to UK, love, email, blah, blah, blah. This is when Taz sent that long email to be in my life and all that. And then, before I was coming for my next trip, some strange happenings happened. So Taz, on behalf of Ria, proposed for Ria to me or something like this. And I was like, okay, fine, whatever. Like, look, man, we are soulmates. We are all these mates, this, that, we can do it. And she liked Lord of the Rings. So I got 2 Lord of the rings and I'm like, yeah, we can do this, do that. But by the time I got to Kenya, buyer's remorse, all that, we're just like, look, I've just come out of a really long, taxing relationship. I don't want any more, I don't want to lock myself into all these things, this and that. And the strange thing was, even when I landed in Kenya, someone else I was dating also asked me for marriage because they were sick of this place. Their story, I don't think I will get too deep into it because it's their story, but they were not happy and they wanted out, and out meant for some reason marrying me and coming out. So I was like, look, man, that's not going to happen. I'll consider it. I did consider it. I even told my mom, look, man, this chick I'm dating, this, that. My mom I didn't even need to tell her the full story. She's like, yeah, I know. Someone proposed to you, blah, 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 blah. Don't do it. So my mom was the voice of reason for 2 marriages not going through. And then I told this lady, look, do Art of Living. A lot of my friends have done Art of Living after they've seen what's happened to me. And after she did Art of Living, the way her life changed, the same way it happened to me, things just started falling in place. And I'm so happy for her. Like she's all happy and set now. So that was then. And then we would get together, we would do things, hang out. It was a bit strange. First time I went, my mom was alive. The second time I went was when mom passed away. and everything was just beautiful, amazing, this and that. Only thing was, Taz was expecting a relationship to go to normal, and I wasn't really into that anymore. So I don't want overseas stuff happening anyway. But then Taz would come to UK, so all that Taz stuff in Taz is one. But yeah, 2013 is when I went back. This time with a Jamaican friend of mine who invited herself to come and hang, and I just wanted to catch up, just keep the peace with my dad, because he was already planning on kicking me out or locking me up. That was his two things he would always love doing anyway. Chanel wanted to go everywhere, and I was like, look, man, you want to do stuff, you're more than happy to do. So she would always end up with DJ Ned in Kisumu, and I'll leave that for that future one. But this time round, Ria and I reconciled in our own way. I used to stay with her, this and that. Things were going really well, but I was starting to see something in our dynamic. And by now, if you've already seen my borders, boundaries, creating healthy boundaries and all that series, you'll know by now I would have created very strong, very healthy boundaries where I say no a lot. So at some point I was like, okay, I'm always the one driving everyone around, doing everything, making all the big moves. And Ria really wanted to settle this time. I'm like, look, I'm settled in Australia now. You want to do something, you would have to come to me. I've been coming to you all the time. I do everything, this, that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm not taking people on rides and this and that. Because again, back when I was dating Taz, she was friends, she was working with a guy called Faze. And one day we had to pick him all the way from, I don't know, Levington or somewhere. And I fit like 8 people in the car. I should have said no, but I didn't. I was such a sucker, man. I was like, what the hell am I doing? So this time I was like, no, man. For some reason, they expect me. They expected I would just do it. And yeah, I sent an email saying all these things. And I knew the reaction I would get, because Ria is a firecracker. She's not just going to accept things that way. And since then, I haven't heard from her. So I do appreciate and I love what we had. I'm sure it's one of these friendships that if we do reconcile, and when we do reconcile, it'll go back to normal. Or, I mean, now we're all married, we all have kids, or she's in a relationship from what I last heard and stuff. So I'm happy about that. But of all the people I've had in my life, Ria has been like my rock, my soulmate, my twin, my other half, just so much to me, this lady. Some other things I can remember, like music-wise, when she gave me that CDs and all that, there was one which I really liked. I Do Both Jay and Jane. There was another one, Dil Nahi Lagta. I think she had it as a phone beep thing. And then the Titi song. And that time she would be dating, guess who? That guy from Trusted, the Rasta guy. So yeah, we've had like breaks up, makeup, this, that. We've just interstitched and weaved in and out of each other's lives, different adventures and all these things. And her philosophy was feel nothing. And she has another philosophy which I can't talk about, but yeah, I wish I could have that kind of philosophy, man. Other friend she would hang out with is this girl called Anita, who looks like a tiny version of her. There was the hairdressing time when she cut my hair short, and I was so sad that I cut my hair. And that time she was hanging with someone else. I can't remember. Laman. That name is on the tip of my tongue. And Jalila. So I got to meet some very cool and interesting characters through her. We used to hang out in DP a lot, in the parking. And yeah, let's leave it there. Let me do the next one.